Hi there folks, my name's NovaWing24 and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for your simulation release news and goings on from the week that was. And so here we are on Sunday the 3rd of March 2019 for another exciting episode, and we're going to jump straight into it this week with the latest releases for the X-Plane world. So Orbix has continued their commitment to bringing across their range over onto the X-Plane 11 platform by bringing across one of my favourites of their UK airfields, that is Popham Airfield. Popham Airfield, being the home to the Spitfire Flying Club, is a privately owned airstrip in the United Kingdom. And this home that's operating mostly for GA and light aircraft operating out of the region. It's a grass strip, so no hard runways here, and as I said, can be home to a lot of GA aircraft and various other microlights and other interesting quirks of aviation are also home there as well. The airfield is very iconic because of my current surroundings here, and it's all been beautifully detailed models. It is absolutely one of my favourite airfields to visit inside of the ESP platform, so it's great to see it coming across onto the X-Plane 11 platforms. Can't wait to give it a spin shortly. So this one's come out, as I said, it hasn't been updated from what I can tell. It looks like it is simply been a straight port over from the previous rendition, which is getting a bit dated now, though I must admit I don't think the airfield really changes that much between the years. But as I said, it hasn't been updated other than to bring it across into the new platform. They have, however, made sure that it is fully integrated into True Earth GB South, so all the photoreal terrain for the airfield and the surrounding area has been blended to work with the True Earth systems as well. Speaking of the photoreal terrain of the airport and surrounding area, it is a combination of between 30 and 60 centimeter per pixel imagery. There is a wide variety of custom models of all the airport buildings, as well as custom static aircraft and vehicles for the surrounding area as well. As I said, one of my favourite airfields to visit as part of the ESP platforms. Looking forward to taking a spin in X-Plane 11. And this one's coming in at about 25 Australian dollars, so about 18 US dollars, or your original equivalent, available now from Orbix. And another X-Plane 11 scenery release this week. The guys, a new developer on the screen, and I am totally going to get this pronunciation wrong here. Perouge, I think, development company has come out with their initial release into the simulation market and straight to the X-Plane 11 world by releasing their rendition of Tivat International Airport. So Tivat is one of the largest cities in Montenegro, a beautiful sort of small country on the Adriatic. Part of the former Slavic republics. This airport has been a rendition of the airport as it appears in about the middle of 2018. It's come to us with all of the major airport buildings and all accurately placed and custom modelled, as well as all runways and taxiway layouts have been included as well. Full implementation of X-Plane 11's PBR rendering services for their ground textures and building textures, as well as surrounding buildings of the surrounding countryside, surrounding city, have also been included as well. Full ortho imagery of the airport surrounds, and the city nearby of the Tivat have also been included, as well as some of the texture resolution of many of the buildings being in full 4K resolution as well. So I must admit, for a first product release from these guys, it looks pretty good. As I haven't had it, and don't have it myself at the moment, but as I said, from the publicity photos, it's looking pretty good, that's for sure. If you are wanting to pick this one up and expand this one to your X-Plane 11 collection, you're looking at about 17 US dollars, available now from Sim Markets. And another X-Plane 11 release this week. The guys over at Just Sim have brought across their rendition of Dulum International Airport over on X-Plane 11. Previously been released for the ESP platforms. They have brought this Turkish airport across into the X-Plane 11 world. So this airfield services is one of the three main ones which service southwest Turkey, providing a hub for both domestic flights as well as international flights throughout Europe, North Africa and the Middle East. Now this airport has been provided to us with highly detailed renditions of all the major airport buildings as it appears in 2018. Custom textures and custom mesh have been included for all of the taxiways, runways and apron, as well as custom
use of the airport lighting. Full implementation of the PBR materials has been done as well. Also included are night effects. Realistic glass reflections have been included, and also, it has also been optimized for world traffic and X-Lite traffic plugins as well. So looking pretty cool. From what I believe, the ESP one's not too bad. So this one's looking pretty good, especially for the guys over Just Sims content. Coming in about their average price, coming in about $20 US or the original equivalent, available now from Sim Market. And another airport release for the X-Plane 11 World. The guys over at Vertical Simulations have come out with another one of their affordable airport range in the form of Corpus Christi International Airport, which is a city-owned public-use airport in the district of Corpus Christi in Texas, in the US. So this airfield is, I must admit, I'm going to give a shout out to Vertical Sims for this one, because I like the fact that they're actually keeping these airports affordable. So their airports, none of their products are greater than $15. So they're actually going for, they're affordable airports. They're interesting, quirky little airports in some ways as well. But they're a great rendition. They could be a great a place for both tube liner flyers, GA flyers, helicopters could all visit these airports, and you can do it affordably as well. Because once you've got a few airports, you're going to start looking at a lot of cash. And Vertical Sims sort of seem to be recognizing that and providing a very highly detailed product by giving us a very highly detailed rendition of the airport, including all buildings, full layout of the airport as it appears at the end of 2018, full implementation of the AutoGate support system as well, full implementation of 3D grass as well, color matched to the photoreal imagery that surrounds the airport and the surrounding area, as well as full implementation of the PBR texturing and PBR systems on all buildings and ground textures as well. So really, really good setup here. And as I said, from the publicity photos I'm looking at here, really highly detailed, especially for the price tag. So I've really got to give a shout out to these guys for this one. So as I said, if you don't want this one's only $12, $12 US for this one, available directly from the Vertical Sims website, available now. And another scenery release, and rounding out the scenery releases for the X-Plane 11 World this week, the guys, so you may have heard that you may know the name Frank Denisi and Fabio Bellini. These guys are the ones who brought us the Matterhorn and Everest for X-Plane 11, and they have continued on with their bringing us very great parks, national parks, and huge mountains of the world by giving us Cerro Torres Les Glaciers National Park. Now, this one is part of Patagonia South, or rather, or on the border areas between Argentina and Chile. However, this particular one is in the Argentinian territory as well. It also includes the main peak of Cerro Torre. It also includes a secondary peak nearby of Fitzroy as well. Not only do you get a very highly detailed rendition in beautiful high-resolution photoreal imagery with custom terrain mesh, which is apparently landable, I believe, for those helicopter aficionados. Not only do you get the mountains, the range, and the beautiful scenery as well, you also get the a full rendition of El Chalten Airport, which has a very short runway of 800 meters, with a small apron and 4 parking areas included as well. A full custom 3D modeling for that airport, as full custom lighting data and terrain mesh, as I said, have been included as well. You also get a range of helipads have been included, and heliports have been included for the variety of places around the area, including the base camp for hikers who are planning on their trip up to Cerro Torre. So I have to say, this is a really impressive, guys. And if it's, as I said, I'm just going to straight out to say, especially if you're a helicopter pilot, you've just got to want this. You really are, and if you haven't already had a look and grabbed his Matterhorn and his Everest, you need to go out and do that now, particularly if you are a rotary wing fanatic. Just saying. Just throwing it out there. No, this is not sponsored by HeliSimmer. Anyway, if you are wanting to grab this one, folks, it is available now from Xplane.org store, coming in at $23 US, or your original equivalent, available now. Moving out of the X-Plane world, moving into the ESP platforms, and starting ourselves off with a prepared exclusive one this week. So a relative... Well, okay, I'm gonna say newcomer because I'm not familiar with their work, but they may have done something else before. I'm just not familiar with it. But Digital Design have come bursting onto the stage this year with their release of Liverpool's John Lennon International Airport this week. Now, this one has been made exclusive for Prepared V4. Now, this is a highly detailed rendition of the 12th busiest airport in the United Kingdom by giving us going through the highly detailed rendition of the airport, including up-to-date airport layout, customized 3D models of all the buildings, and also, I must say, one of these first ones, as I said, not just is Prepared V4 exclusive, is Prepared V4.4. That's because it does fully implement all the PBR as well, which I think may be the first scenery release that is actually fully taking advantage of PBR in Prepared, which is kind of interesting, kind of cool. As I said, very highly detailed rendition of this one, including various wet and puddle effects have included here as well. High resolution textures on all airport buildings. High resolution vegetation included and modelled as well, while still remaining to be fairly friendly on the frames as well. Highly resolution terrain coverage and photo reel has been included of the airport and the surrounding area, as well as dynamic lighting and other things that we've expected to see with Prepared services as well. So, looking pretty good, and also about an average price coming in about $23 available now from Sim Markets. Continuing on with releases for the ESP Platform World, the guys over at Tropical Sim have continued their work through as they reboot of many of their older products, and this time they've come out and updated their Corvo Airport rendition. So this one is part of the Azores chain, so the Portuguese territory. They've come through and updated this they've previously done it, they've updated it to have the latest appear as it appears at the end of 2018. They've also gone through, they've remodeled all of the coastal line and coastal terrain, updated the terrain mesh of the whole island, as well as overhauling the airport, updating the buildings, updating the models, and updating the layout as it appears at the end of 2018. They've also added in a few additional ground service effects and added some other few little goodies for Prepared users as well. And this one is available to all users, so this is a full suite of the ESP platforms, including FSX, FSX Steam Edition, and Prepared in all its variety of formats. So this one's available now for new users. You're looking about $12 for this one, for this fairly small, fairly cute little airport in the middle of the Atlantic. For existing users, you get an upgrade price for this one of about $7. Just make sure you log into your Sim Market account, available now on Sim Markets. And another scenery release this week. This one for the first release from AA Sceneries. So a Chinese developer making their jump into the system. This time with the release and their rendition of Beijing International Airport. So Beijing Capital International Airport. I do apologise. Which is the main international airport servicing Beijing, and it's one of the busiest and largest in the world. Now, this set of scenery does support both FSX and Prepared in all its forms, Prepared V3 and V4. It's given as a highly detailed rendition of all terminal buildings as it appears in 2018, including high-definition coverage of all taxiways, all runways, and all layouts, as well as high-definition textures for all of the airport buildings. Also includes photoreal scenery of the airport and surrounding area with custom vegetation, and as well as traffic enabled tunnels going under taxiways and around terminals 1 and 2, which is always a cool thing to see. I always like to see when they get that one. It does support full SODE support for all jetways, as well as other features of the airport as well, and a variety of custom Chinese specific auto gen for the airport and surrounding area as well. So looking pretty good. As I said, this one's coming in at $30 or your original equivalent, available now from Sim Markets. And rounding out the ESP scenery releases for this week, the guys over at Malaysian Flight Sim Group have come back and they've released their latest Indonesian airport this time with the release. Oh, sorry, not Indonesian. Their latest Malaysian airport with the release of Subang International Airport. Now, this is was originally this actually it was the original is actually the old Kuala Lumpur airport before the new airport at Sepang was actually opened. So Sepang was the original one many years ago, and then as I said, it was when the new airport opened in 1998. This one was sort of relegated to sort of more general aviation and more lighter operations. There were plans to update it and use some of the low cost carriers out of there, but the locals pushed back and said no, they were happy with things being a lot quieter than they used to be. So it's kept it, and it's now again, as I said, only used as a primarily used as a GA and light inter-island turboprop operations. Though it does have a military contingent on the base as well. So this is a highly detailed rendition of the airport as it appears during 2018, including all major buildings. Runways, taxiways, all modelled, as well as a full implementation of photoreal terrain of the airport and the surrounding city is included as well. Custom landmarks, custom 3D models for the airport and surrounding areas, and custom autogen have been included as well. Now, again, what's interesting about the MFSG guys is that they must, they obviously they have at least one of their developers still really loves their FS9, because not only does this support FSX, FSX Steam Edition, and all versions of Prepared, including Dynamic Lighting and Prepared V4, it also still supports FS9. So I have to say, always impressed by these. However, I do feel though that the quality of their photoreal and some of their scenery is starting to it's starting to show that they're still trying to maintain backwards compatibility that far back. And people who've been watching from me for a while know that I always appreciate when developers maintain backwards compatibility, but I think we might be stretching a rather long bow now. I think just possibly, even I have to say that anyway. As I said, this one's coming in at about $18 US, or your original equivalent, available now from Sim Markets. And finally, rounding out our ESP releases for this week, we saw the release of the Steam Edition version of Alabeo's Cessna 404 Titan this week. So not going to go into this one in too much detail. Basically, this is the same one that we've seen from Alabeo for many, many years. Just this is the Steam Edition exclusive version of it. As I always say with this one, this is a bit of a buyer beware. If you only ever going to sim on FSX Steam Edition, then sure, you can grab this one because it's about $6 or $8 cheaper than buying it. Sorry, actually, it's $15 cheaper than buying it from Alabeo directly. However, you are locked to Steam Edition then. If you buy it direct from Alabeo or from one of the other independent flight sim stores on flight sim retailers, then you are going to find that you are going to be able to install it not only in FSX, but you'll also be able to install it in Prepared in all its glory as well. So just something to be aware of. If you feel confident that you're only ever going to fly in FSX Steam Edition, that's fine. But if you are thinking that maybe one day you're going to move forward into Prepared, then, or want to have at least have that flexibility just in case, then you may want to look at picking it up from another flight sim retailer. But yes, there you go. Otherwise, available now on Steam. Alright, moving away from the ESP platforms and moving into the world of Digital Combat Simulator, we saw the release this week of a rumoured, well, long hinted at by Razbam with their latest model going into their form of DCS World Early Access with their release of their Early Access rendition of the MiG-19P Farmer. The MiG-19 was a 1950s design that was actually basically it was the first Soviet interceptor that could actually exceed Mach 1 in level flight. So it was designed primarily to be able to take out, as a point defense interceptor, to be able to take out large formations of American bombers coming towards to bomb the motherland. It would see combat service in various sort of border and sort of bush wars around the world over the years, and still serves as a very interesting sort of look at a platform. It was a very interesting choice of DCS of Razbam to develop for it, but I suppose in some ways it kind of makes sense. It gives the F5 a bit of a compatible sort of offshoot. Actually, no, it doesn't, because it sort of predates the F5 a lot, actually, by about 20 years, so maybe not. Anyway, so yes, it's come through. It's been given a rendition of including. This is the P edition of the Farmer, or the Farmer B, as was its NATO reporting name. Now this one's coming out at even at the early access price of $50. I haven't seen it. Haven't got anything yet, not sure, so I'm just going to roll with it. But yes, if you want to have a look at a Soviet era fighter, this might be with very few of the bells and whistles and stuff like that. This might be one that you might be interested in having a look at. So this one's available now from the DCS World store. Word of note: this is not available for Steam users. This is only for the non-Steam editions of DCS World at this time. And this was, as I said, coming in at 50 US dollars, or your original equivalent, available now from DCS. Alright, moving out of the flight sim world. Well, moving kind of out of the flight sim world and moving into sort of, into a different form of flight simulation, I suppose, with the guys over at Tower 3D Pro releasing their latest airport add-on for their air traffic control management simulation. This is the rendition of EGKK, or London's Gatwick Airport. So London's Gatwick is a single runway airport that's is a lot closer to London than Heathrow is, and although it doesn't have it, it still becomes very, very busy because of the fact that it is a single set of single runway ops, and still very sort of quite a large airport as it is. So looking kind of interesting, kind of cool. I'm not that into the way that this is kind of done, but you know, if you are, then this might be for you. So as I said, this is a add-on airport for the base game, and you're looking at spending about $20 US, or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. Alright, moving out of the flight sim world completely now, and this time moving into the world of cars. So the guys over at Playway have released their latest piece of DLC for Car Mechanic Simulator 2018. CMS 2018 had a lot of issues, but it seems that they've got on top of them a lot lately, and they've continued releasing new DLC, this time around with their Maserati Remastered DLC. And this one comes up with 3 licensed Maserati cars for you to be able to rip apart, repair, and drive. The Maserati Gran Turismo MC Stradale? Stradale? I think it's Stradale. I think it is. The Maserati, the Sebring, and the Quattroporte are all done in very high details. So quite the evolutionary range of Maserati vehicles available for you to, as I said, to be able to salvage, pick apart, and be able to repair and enhance at your pleasure. So this one's available now. Normal price for this one coming in at around about $5 US, but on launch special of $4 US available now on Steam. Continuing on with the driving world, this time the guys over at Codemasters have finally got around to updating their Dirt Rally series with their Dirt Rally 2.0. So I remember playing Dirt Rally like years ago. I think it must be a good 4 years ago, I think, 5 years ago, so it's come a long way. So it's a long time since I've actually sort of done the reboot, but now the reboot is here, and boy is it here in a huge way. So this one comes out with a all new engine, a lot along with their other sort of more Formula 1 sort of road-based titles, completely updated to include a variety of additional sort of things and experiences that you would have in rally vehicles. Includes 8 real-life rally tracks, is officially licensed by the FIA World Rallycross Championship as well, including all their major, as I said, with 8 of their tracks are all included at the moment out of the box. It also includes a story mode where you actually sort of run your own team, as well as having full licensing of all the vehicles that are included in here, including over 50 vehicles included here, including VW Polo GTI R5, Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution X, of course, as if that couldn't be in a rally game, Citroen C3 R5, as well as the Chevrolet Camaro GT4R. What's that's doing in a rally game, I am not 100% sure, but as I said, it is in here. The story mode is really kind of interesting because it is like you actually race as your own team, where you actually manage everything from your car, your drivers, your navigators, your hiring staff, your mechanics, as well as what vehicles you have and how you're using them. So it's a really kind of interesting thing here. Got a whole heap of other stuff coming through here as well. Now, there is a couple of different versions of this one at the moment. So at the moment, there is the base version. There is also a deluxe edition as well, which includes some additional vehicles. It also includes some the first two upcoming expansions as well, which will be an additional 6 tracks, 10 cars, and in-game some other various in-game bonuses as well, as long as 3 new cars straight out of the box, which includes a Porsche 911 and sorry, I apologize, 1 new car out of the box, which is a Porsche 911, as well as some access to some other cars that are already in there earlier on in your career. So there's it's a few things interesting. I think that sounds a bit more of a, especially considering how expensive, like how much price difference there is. There's almost a $40, like $30-$40 difference in the pricing there. It's kind of insane. So I'm thinking that maybe their codemasters are pushing the edge of what people are going to be expecting to pay. But otherwise, visually, it looks absolutely stunning. It really does. And some of the reviews I've been seeing online have been overall been fairly positive for it. So if you are a rally car driver, you're probably going to grab this one. As I said, so this one's coming in. It's coming in starting at $60 US, or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. Alrighty, moving away from the high octane and moving to something a little bit more relaxing now, moving into Dovetail Games' Fishing Sim World. So their latest fishing location has been released this week with Lake Dillon, coming in at a fairly reasonable price, about $11 US for this one. This one adds in a new area with over 2,000 acres and 11 different species of fish for your new target environment for you to be able to do some fishing on. It's got a variety of trophy-sized bass, northern pike, as well as a few other targets fish as well. So overall, looking pretty nice, spectacular, very visually very appealing, and get you some stuff so you can actually sort of go out on some boats as well as fishing from the shore. So looking kind of cool. Not huge in the fishing thing. I tried my hand at fishing, not my thing, I don't think. But there you go. So if you are wanting to pick this one up, as I said, coming in at about $11 US, or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And finally, rounding out the simulation releases for this week, the guys over at Space Engineers, the Keen Software House, have finally exited their early access beta with their title of Space Engineers. So it's been in early access for, I'm pretty sure, since 2015. 2015 or 2016 it hit early access. So we're talking 3 years. But it's finally exited. But I tell you what, I felt, from looking at it, I've never played it myself, but it looks spectacularly hilarious in some ways. And it's for the same developer in the development studio that brought us Medieval Engineers. So it's got a very strong pedigree in here as well. Very much an open world sandbox survival sort of game, but it is primarily about the idea of building stuff in space rather than just using it as the shooter part. But you can still do that. I remember watching a video where somebody did the whole rods from God thing. That was just messed up and cool all at the same time. They're using basic they use a lot of physics, a lot of cool stuff in there. Very much an open sort of Minecraft for big kids, I think, is the best way of describing this. I think it looks like. I'm not going to go into it in too much detail because there's thousands of videos out there which will be explained to it and go into a lot more detail, and I haven't played it myself. So if for all you budding space engineers out there, you may want to give it a go. Now the standard price is where are we here? Standard price is around about $20 US. It's on a launch special at the moment, as this goes to air, and there is various different add-ons you can pick it up as well and get a deluxe upgrade if you so desire. But otherwise, if you want to enjoy the Space Engineers, it might be something different for you, a bit of a sandbox one. Have a look on Steam, available now on Steam. And with that now rounds out the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search NovaWing24. Alright folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.